So this video I'm going to be ranking fish rods. Now the reason it's already done is because, well, I recorded it, but the sound didn't record. So with that said, let's just start off from the bottom, working our way to the top. So we're basing this on how the fish rods look. So there's awful category, it's not that good category, it's all right, pretty cool, I like very much, and looks utterly beautiful. Okay, so let's just start off. So we first start off with the awful category, which I put stone rod and long rod inside of. Now I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, so I'm not going to be giving a full explanation, but I'm still going to be giving a good reason on why. So the reason that I put a long rod in here is literally because if you look at it, it is just a long piece of wood. I'm not joking. It is a long piece of wood. It's just a little longer. That's the only unique thing about it. So that's why I'm putting it in awful. Not as bad as the stone rod. Actually, no, it is bad. I don't know. It is worse. I got it mixed up. So the reason I put stone rod in is because it's literally just plain old stone. There's no wood involved. And the reason that I put it in awful is because, well, one, it's just stone, but also I like my wood on my rods. I like my rods to be wood. So yeah, that's all I put in the awful category, which is not too many rods. There's like 56 rods in the game. So now we go up to the it's not that good category. So starting off, we have a lucky rod, and the reason I put this here, so here's a picture of it. The reason that I put it here is because it's literally just, honestly, it's not that good. It is green here, and then there's just a gray pole, but honestly, I don't get too much lucky from it, and I feel like they could have added more. Also, if you guys think this is biased, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's why I put lucky rod, and it's not that good. Next up is flimsy rod. I think you guys know why. It's literally just a rod. It's flimsy, not much to it. So yeah, we just move on to haunted rod. Haunted rod, yeah, it's something. It looks something like this. As you can see, it's not that good because, well, it's fairly simple. I guess this part is pretty cool, but otherwise it's just wood. Not too much going on either, so I put this in the it's not that good. Not as bad as these two though. So then we move on to magma rod. So here's the magma rod, and the reason that I did put this in not that good is because I don't really like it. It is very neon. There's not too much going on down here, and then it's also rusty. So for that reason, I don't really like it, and I think that's why I put it in it's not that good. Now we go on to carbon rod. Carbon rod is a great rod, but oh shoot, this ain't. But the reason that I put it low is because, of course, it's on the looks of it, and it does not look that good. It's literally just gray. It looks like it's a mesh, which is basically, well, of course, it's like an uncolored mesh because they just didn't color it. So for that reason, I put it in this, and it's not that good. So now we move on to the it's alright category, which these are like kind of mid. So we start off in the completely bottom of it's alright steady rod. So here is why I rated it, because it's got this twisty stuff, but honestly it's a very simple rod, not too much stuff going on. So that's why I put it in steady rod and it's alright. Then we move on to the fast rod. So it's obviously very simple. It has something really weird going on at the top, and then it's also just kind of like weird. So for that reason, I'm giving it a it's alright. So now we go to candy cane rod, and of course, like fast rod, it's mid, so we move on. Alright, so it's not a bad rod. It definitely resembles a candy cane, which is good, which is why it's not going in awful, because of course it doesn't even look that good, and that's the reason that I put it inside of it's alright. And then we move on to the nocturnal rod. So the nocturnal rod, it's kind of just black, but the reason I didn't put it in it's awful like the stone rod, because it was just stone, is because there's something going on at the top, and it looks pretty damn cool, and for that reason I put it in it's alright, but lower it's alright. So now we got a rapid rod. So here is the rapid rod. It's not the best picture. It looks pretty cool, but at the same time it looks really weird, and I kind of just like the simple base design, like what rapid rod looks like. So for that reason I put it in it's alright, because it's just not my type. And then we go on to Krampus's rod. So this is in it's alright, because, well, it's kind of just like they didn't try too hard on it, but at the same time it's not too bad. So for that reason, I put Krampus's rod and it's alright. And Midas rod. So Midas rod is in it's alright because it's very simple and plain. It just looks unfinished, looks like it's colored by a kid. So that's why I put it in it's alright. So now we go on to training rod, which is one of the, well, starter rods. So I put the training rod in it's alright because I mean it's simple and all, but like there's something about it that just, it's like a normal rod, you know? It looks like a normal rod, but it just looks cool and it looks like a rod I would buy. So that's why I put the training rod in it's alright. Now to magnet rod. So this one is in it's alright because it's kind of like the training rod, but instead of metal, and then there's this little aura, so that's why it's a little bit more ahead than training rod. It's in it's alright, so it's not that bad. Arctic rod. So Arctic rod is right here, and the reason that it is in it's alright is because it's all snowy and cool and stuff, but there's a lot of rods that look like this, like avalanche rod and I think like frost warden's rod, so those are better in my opinion, and they will be later in the video, but yeah. It's a good rod, it just gets outruled by other rods. So now I have reinforced rod. I don't really have to show a picture of this. The reason that I gave it it's alright is because it's interesting. I don't like the colors all that, but at the same time, they tried something different with it, with the cogs and stuff, so reinforced rod gets it's alright. Antler rod. Now this one they put a lot of thought into because like antlers, there's antlers coming out over here, then there's the Rudolph nose, whatever, reindeer nose, and I mean it's just a cool rod, but there's not too much going on at the top of the rod. Now wisdom rod. Now this is a very cool rod. Of course, it is not too simple, and they definitely tried something different, as you can see with this little twisty thing. I don't really like the twisty thing in my opinion. It's not my thing, so that's why I put it in it's alright. Now here is Ice Warper's rod. Now it looks pretty similar to the Arctic rod, but as you can see, the colors seem way more vibrant. There's more detail to it, and there's like, yeah, it's just better overall. But it's still in it's alright because, well, there's still the avalanche rod, which I can see up there. Now North Star rod. So here is the North Star rod right here. It looks really cool, honestly. There's some yellow going out there, little diamond up there. I think it's a solid rod, you know, like it looks pretty damn cool. Not much more to say than that. I'm putting North Star rod in the second best it's alright, and the first best it's alright is Frostfire rod. So here's the Frostfire rod. Now the reason that this isn't the best it's alright, so one, it's not my favorite rod, it's not something I would use, but I like the thought behind it because the frost meaning like this little blue aura, fire meaning the orange aura, pretty good thought behind it. So for that reason, it gets a it's alright, but it's that best it's alright rod in my opinion in the game. So now we go on to pretty cool, and I put plastic rod as the worst, and the reason I did is, of course, it's one of the worst rods in the game. So the reason that I put it there is because, well, it's a nice vibrant rod. It's cool, honestly. Look at the colors. Come on, that's it. I like the colors on it. That's it. Boom, it goes there. Fortune rod is just, it looks very cool, especially for the price. As you can see, there's something cool going on down here. Very simple, and for that reason, it's going also in pretty cool. Buddy Bond rod is the rod that you get for friending someone or something. So here it is. It looks pretty darn cool, especially for not the best rod. And for that reason, I mean, look at it. It's just cool. It looks cool. So it goes in pretty cool. And after that comes the Trident rod. Now, the reason that I put Trident rod there, I'm not going to pull it up, but the reason I did is because, well, it's a Trident. It's cool. So it just gets into that category. Phoenix rod. Now, I think you guys know that this rod looks sick. It is just a rod, kind of some gradient, and then some wings coming out. Not my favorite rod, but yeah. Now we have Avalanche rod, which I used. It's just better than Ice Warper rod in looks. And as you can see, this little tornado thing, and then it goes up, and there's just snow. I just like it overall more, so it goes into pretty cool. After that, we got the Rod of the Depths. Now, this would have been higher, but it's cool, but like, it's not my best. Like, I don't really like the design, but at the same time, I think it's really sick. So it still gets a really high rating. Well, not that high. And now we have Event Horizon rod. Now, this was used to get a code, but I didn't get it. because like it just didn't let me, otherwise I would have it. But it's a cool rod. It's a cool design. It's something different they tried. For that reason, I'm gonna be giving it a pretty cool too. After that, we have the mythical rod. The reason that I put this in pretty cool is because it's a simple rod, but it has black and purple, and black and purple go really well together, especially when the purple is neon. So yeah, Aurora rod is next. The reason that I put this here is just because look at it. It just looks cool. There's some crystals coming out there, and the little alluring thing, and it just goes up. It's cool. Now, King's Rod. Now, originally in the video that I made, I put this all the way up, and I like very much. But then it just started coming down and down and down. The better the rods got. Because this was one of the first rods I put on the list. And the reason that I put it here is because it has a cool gradient to it, actually, and it just looks sick. Now, next up is Riptide Rod. Now, the reason I put Riptide Rod inside of pretty cool is because, well, come on, it looks sick. It's kind of curved, which I like how they added that. And I mean, it just has a lot going on with it, and it looks cool. It looks surreal. Well, it is surreal because it's not real, but it's going in pretty cool. And now we go to the Lost Rod. Now, the reason that I put it here is because it looks like the Event Horizon Rod, but Event Horizon Rod is just one color, doesn't look like much. So this has contrast to it, and I just thought that was really cool. So the Lost Rod gets that. Now we go into the Frost Warden's Rod. Now, I mean, it's a pretty cool rod. I actually don't know why I put this inside of pretty cool. So I'm actually going to move it down to right here because I think Avalanche Rod is better. But it's a very cool rod, and I think I'm going to be giving Sunken Rod there because, well, just look at it. It's so cool, and especially like, I don't know, it just has some aura to it too, so I like it. So Sunken Rod, you're gonna go there. Fungal Rod. Now this one is cool because there's actually like mushrooms on it, and it just looks really like good, as you guys can see, and I just like it very much. So it's gonna be going in the top tier. Pretty cool. That makes us move on to I like very much. So the first one I put there, oh, why am I on Frost Warden's Rod? So the first one I put there was the Voyager Rod, and it was actually the first one I put there, but then it ended up being the last on the list because, well, look, it has a lot of cool designs on it, and I actually kind of like the design on it. It just looks like an undecorated version of the Rod of the Forgotten Fang, but I still like it, and it's really cool. So Voyager Rod still gets in I like very much. Now, Fisher's Rod. Now, this one still did blow me away, even though it is very simple because, well, it's still got some very cool stuff going on. I mean, it's not crazy, but like, I like it. I don't know, they just did simple right, because sometimes simple cannot be good, but this case it was. And that moves us on to Destiny Rod. So Destiny Rod, I'm gonna be giving over there because, well, it's a cool rod. It looks better than Phoenix Rod. It kind of looks like it. It just goes up, a little bit of a halo, you know, simple too, but it's not the best I like very much, but it's not the worst. And I'm just saying, none of the I like very muches are bad. So Fishmas Rod. So I gave the Fishmas Rod a I like very much because it just looks very cool. There's some candy cane stuff going down here. It very much resembles Fishmas or Christmas or New Year's. For that reason, I like the resemblance. I'm giving it a like very much. Summit Rod. Also, guys, please like and subscribe because I think it took me 2 hours just to record this video because, like, it took me an hour before this to do all the research on it and everything. So actually, please like and subscribe. This is one of the most time-consuming videos I've ever made. But here's the Summit Rod, guys. It's a cool rod, you know. It's squared up and yeah, not much to say. So boom, Summit Rod goes there. Next is Astro Rod. Now, the reason I gave Astro Rod such a high rating is because it's actually, like, it's a very warm rod, and it's very good. It reminds me of just, like, going outside, and for that reason, it's also going in I like very much. Now we have the Precision Rod. We're getting to the last few rods here. But here's the Precision Rod. Very simple, but I like the colors, especially since blue is a very nice color to me. So that's it, honestly. That's the reason that it's going and I like very much. Next up is Scurvy Rod. So here is Scurvy Rod. It's a sick rod. You can tell it's like underwater, even though you don't buy it underwater. You know, it's a little orange here. There's a death skull. There's something there, and then some coral coming out. That's one of my favorite rods in the game. Now we go to Relic Rod. Okay, so here is Relic Rod, guys. It was at some point the best on the list, but now it isn't. But still, it's a very exceptional rod. I like it because it just goes up. It's big, small, small, small. It just has lots of good details to it. For that reason, it's going here. So next up, I put a no life rod because of course it's a literal freaking key, bro. I don't know how they thought of making this, but I like it very much, and for that reason, it's going very high. Now we're at the top 5 rods. The number 5 rod is Seasons Rod. Now Seasons Rod I put because, well, Seasons Rod is sick. Just like you can tell there's summer here, winter on the other side, and there's like a thermometer going through red, blue. Sick, dude. For that reason, it's going in number 5. Number 4 is Rod of the Eternal King. Funny how it's one of the best rods in the game too, so, and it's also at the top of this list. Funny. So here it is. Of course, I put this in. It's cool because like it is very cool. Like it's got aura, it's just orange, and it's like tiger thingies. So yeah, Rod the Eternal King gets number 4. So number 4, I put Celestial Rod because, well, come on, just take a look at it. It looks different right here, and I mean, I just like it. I feel like it's my type of rod. It's something that I would use. It looks like the Midas rod but better and a little different, so that's why it's number 4. No, it's number 3, my bad. Number 2 now is Rod of the Forgotten Fang. Keep on pausing my video by accident, bro. But here is Rod of the Forgotten Fang. So I put this here because, well, it's like curved, and I like the design of curved rods very much. It's like a megalodon biting up on the lure thingy, and I just like it very much. So that's why it's going number 2. Number 1 is a Heaven's Rod. Also one of the best rods in the game, but it's also number 1 on this list in my opinion. If you don't agree with me, I'm sorry, but Heaven's Rod right there. I mean, it's so cool, bro. It has so much going on. It's like a better version of Destiny Rod or something, I forget. So that's why it's going in number 1, guys. If you like this list, it took me so long to make it. It took me so long to make all of this. I'm just hoping that was all worth it, guys. You guys leave a like on the video, comment if you guys like my list, and I'll see you guys in the next video.